Hello, isn't me you're looking for? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Hockrattle. I am your host and guide, and have been your investigator for the last few weeks of our daily creative challenges. We'll start today off with a little joke. What do you call an alligator that's wearing a vest? That's right, an investigator. Love it. I'm stealing a shtick from our friend Kyle T. Webster, who's coming up a little bit later today. So make sure you tune in for that. I am Andrew Hockrattle. We are here for the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Illustrator. Lots of familiar names in the chat. Christelle, Girotima is always here. Steve, Colby, Jack. So much fun. Thanks for tuning in. We're finishing it up. And yes, we will find the culprit today. Today we're working with creating patterns, and I'll even show you how to do some graphic styles in that. You always get a little bonus with my lessons. So today we are here for the Daily Creative Challenges, of course. So let's go ahead and hop over and talk about how you can get involved. The first way is to join us right here at behance.net/challenge/illustrator. Each day there is a new Daily Creative Challenge, and you can always click this little button, and it will remind you every day that the challenge is real. And Macamat, you can finally hear me. Yes, we've been doing review streams on my personal Behance, which you can follow right over here at justhawk.co, also on Instagram and Twitter, shameless plug. But you can check that out. We've been doing streams there, doing some feedback, and I'm so glad that you can hear me now, Macamat. We were having some trouble this morning. So thanks for joining us as well, Julie. You were in the stream this morning as well. So you can catch up on any of the challenges that you missed or any of the plot points of our detective story here in the Watch Video tab to get your recaps, and you also can download all the source files. Today, you do need the source file. We are working on a nice little pattern of a body, so we'll be making some hot new looks for our person that we're arresting on our investigative journey. You also can see past Illustrator challenges if you want to go back and take another one. Next week, we have a very special challenge coming up with our friend Paul Tranny. We'll be going through and debuting a theme that I think he's talking through art history. So it's going to be super fun. I'm a huge fan of history, so make sure you tune in for that and follow along next week, starting on Monday, same time, 11:30 every single week. And hello, Mallory. Welcome to the stream. And a couple other things that I want to tell you about is right here on Behance. So not only are these daily creative challenges great for you to level up your skills, also you can post them and get featured. So you can post a full case study, which a case study is just all of the different lessons that we've done, do a little write-up about maybe what you have learned, and post that on Behance using hashtag #AIDailyChallenge. And that hashtag will get pulled in, and our team will scour the hashtag to find the absolute best of the best and feature them, and you get a little banner as well on your project in the Creative Challenges gallery here on Behance. So one more thing that I want to talk about on Behance is at 2:30 today coming up, Nick Longo and I are talking through office hours. We'll be talking Adobe XD today. So make sure to join us for that. Set your calendars, set your timers. That's exactly 3 hours from right now. So other than that, you can join us right here at the Discord, bit.ly/AI Discord, the place to be, the place to get involved, and the place that we're going to jump to next right here. People are posting their projects. We did an awesome feedback session this morning, hung out nice and early with our coffee. And so there's some really great work that's happened in here. I have loved to see you all take those challenges that I've given you and step them up to a whole new level. You really took it and made it your own, which always makes me so happy. So that's the 5 minutes of my announcements that I'm allotted. So we are going to go ahead and jump into the end of our challenge. If you haven't been following, we've been tracking down a suspect who's stolen some things. We've recovered them using 3D objects, and today we're going to make an arrest and then design some awesome outfits for our suspect to wear once they go into the big house. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a minute with a very special surprise. He's in here. I think this is it. Ah. Hello? Oh, hey everyone. I am the constable. You know, if you've been watching these streams, you've probably been accustomed to a man calling himself Detective Hawk. He actually is an imposter. He has been arrested on crimes of thievery. He's stolen some objects from us. So he is gone to the big house, and I'm so glad that you all have made it out well. I mean, he is pretty smart, and you may have learned something, but I'm so glad that we are here now. We are together and we have taken in that perpetrator. Man, he's just out of control. So let's go ahead and hop over into our lesson today. I guess I'm going to have to take over these streams since he is not here. So let's hop over and learn, let's learn about patterns today because I think that he's going to need something to wear once he is taken over to the big house. Now, let's go ahead and put up his secret cloaking device. There we go. Yes, plot twist, absolutely. So we're over here in Adobe Illustrator, and today we're going to be working in making patterns. So we're going to make those patterns right here on our source file. And of course, stripes are the hottest look to put him in, but let's make something a little more interesting. Today we're going to be creating assets and using them to make a repeating pattern. We'll use pattern tools, brush tools, and who knows, maybe we'll even use some graphic styles. So let's hop in here right away. So we're familiar and we've used this before, the swatches panel right over here floating above my head. Let's go ahead and pull this over here. And yes, some jammy patterns, absolutely. So we've used the swatches panel, right? We usually use the swatches panel for things like colors, right? We'll change something to pink, we'll change it to blue, and use different colors. Now, what if we want to fill that not with a color, but maybe with some kind of crazy pattern? Well, it's super easy, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Each of the patterns that you create, let's start with one that is a square. So maybe we want the background to be kind of this square. Actually, let's not start here. Let's start with the classic. Let's start with stripes, right? Stripes are the hottest look. Why not start with stripes? If we're thinking of patterns, remember to think that it is taking whatever you create and repeating it again and again, both vertically and horizontally, right? So you have to make sure that the top matches up as well as the side. So if we want to make some classic stripes for our friend, we can go ahead and drag out a box using the rectangle tool. And we're going to do a black box and then click Shift and Alt or Option, and you can see how my little cursor there goes from being full black to having a black and white. That means that it is going to make a copy of it. So we have this here, and this one we are going to make a light gray just so we can see it. So now we have a black and a light gray, and as we're thinking, it is vertical and horizontal, right? So it's going to repeat either way. We're going to group these together. And with the swatches panel, we usually drag in colors, right? Well, not this time. We're going to drag in this full pattern of these two and drag over here. You can see that there's a tiny little blue indicator showing that it's going in at the end of these colors as a swatch. So we click and let go. And now you can see in here that it has those two shapes, very, very tiny, teeny tiny. Let's see if we do it this way, if that will actually be any easier for you to see. Probably not. All right, so we're here, right here. It's real teeny tiny. And what we can do is, just like we are filling it in with different colors, we can come down here and click on the pattern that we have dragged in. So we click it in, and there we go. Now we've made the classic uniform of the stripes. Very, very easy and very awesome to put in there. It's repeating vertically, it's repeating horizontally, and just filling out the entire space that we put it in. So next, I'm going to show you how to do that maybe with something a little more complicated like polka dots. So polka dots are a very good look. In chat, let's have you pick two things. And yes, you can just drag it in there. Magic. Yes, I am the officer that has revealed the truth that our detective was indeed an imposter. So chat, you're going to get to pick the colors that we are using for our polka dots. Let me know what colors we want to use for the polka dots, and I'm just using the ellipse tool or hitting L, and I'm clicking through and just making a little smattering of different sized dots. So I can use the scale tool by hitting S to scale these down or up to make a bunch of different sized circles. What colors would we want here? Let me know in chat, and I'll continue on kind of showing the way that we want to go. Purple and green, nice. So we've got purple, and you know what? Let's put this behind it. Let's do some green. There we go. So we'll do green in the background, make it real funky. Absolutely love that. And again, we just need to grab everything that we want to be repeated in there. And we are going to click and drag that into our swatches panel, and you'll see it show up with the little polka dots right there. So this one might get a little bit wonky, but we'll show you how to fix it. So we're going to select our object, and again, instead of creating a color, instead of making it stripes, we are going to click and fill it with a pattern of polka dots. It didn't get funky, it stayed just right. So what it's doing is it's just repeating this again and again and again, right? So a great way to kind of augment is that if you want to change something, and get ready, this is probably going to absolutely blow your mind into a million pieces. Check this out. So someone says that we want it to be purple and gold. All we need to do is grab this, and we're going to drag this swatch back out onto our artboard. So now we have our swatch back on our artboard, and if we want to, let's say that we want to change so that we have the background is brown, and then these become yellow. An easy way to select all of the same color is to hit Y, which is the magic wand tool, and then click on whatever that color is, and it will select everything of that color. So maybe we want to do brown and blue. That looks good to me. And what we can do is, instead of making a new swatch, we can literally take this right here, and we are going to click and drag, and instead of just dropping it as an extra one, we can hold Alt or Option and drag over. You'll see it has a black box, and what it's going to do is it's actually going to replace that pattern, and not only will it replace that pattern in this swatch library right here, it also will replace it everywhere it's used. So check this out. When I let go, there we go. So it has updated this pattern, and it also updates the pattern literally everywhere else that it has been used. So will that swatch be available in my library always? It will stay in this file. If you want to, you can update it into a Creative Cloud library that you can use again and again, but really it will just stay in this file. Now let's continue on, and here I'm going to do one more to show you how you can create a pattern, maybe of some more graphic elements. So we're going to come in here, and this time we're just going to make a square. And this square, again, is going to repeat vertically and horizontally. And so we need to remember that as we create something, we want it to match up with every angle. So am I... this day old and I realized you can make patterns in Illustrator. Yes, it's magic. So let's do this. Let's do a nice little kind of Versace inspired kind of pattern. We're gonna use the pen tool and make maybe like, I don't know, these are like Italian maybe kind of pattern with some lines. So what we're doing is we need to keep in mind that when we make these lines, they need to start and finish at the same positions on the top and the bottom. So we can come in here and make it as complex as we want, as long as it finishes on the top and the bottom at the same place. So what I'm doing is I'm just clicking and then holding Shift, and what that does is it will make it very easy to keep those all at right angles. And see there, I made a little mistake that it is not continuing. There we go. And because, again, this one needs one that continues on, all we need to do is we need to grab that line, and I have my smart guides on so I can make sure that it lines up. And we need to make sure that this lines up at least somewhere. So we'll line it up right there. I missed that point just a tiny bit. Again, smart guides are your best friend. Absolutely best friend. There we go. So we want to check all of the different angles. Right here we have another one that is not continuing on. So we can just go ahead and we'll connect that over here. Right here, this is going across. And a great way to do this that will help is to use your rulers. Hit Command R, and then we'll just drag down rulers to each of these. Let me turn those on, Command semicolon. And make sure that every time we are going off one side, we are going back off the other side. So we missed another one right here. You want to make sure that everything is perfectly lined up, and then grab some vertical ones. So grab some vertical rulers and just make sure right here we're going across and right here we're going across. Looks good to me. Let's do one more over here just to make it a little more interesting. And move that up here, and we want that to line up vertically perfectly right there. Cool. So now we have made sure that all of everything is going vertical and horizontal. We need the connecting points to make the pattern consistent. Yes. So now we'll be able to see a little bit better when we start to repeat this, right? So we have our pattern here. If I click and drag holding Shift and Option, you'll see that now it is creating this pattern, right? It's continuing on and basically repeating that pattern. And yes, it's much like a mosaic, making the top with the bottom, yes. And then here we continue on and drag again. So you'll see that it is actually connecting those points again and again and again using the top and the bottom. You also can do this with type and clipping masks. I'll probably show you that in just a second. So chat, I need you to pick colors one more time. Let me know what the colors are for this. And right now, check this out. I'm just going to drag it in, and we'll put it on one of our uniforms here. Oops, I filled the stroke. There we go, the fill. So now we've got our pattern on here, and yes, it's a seamless pattern. What colors do we want this to be? Let me know. Let me know. And then we'll get into some of this craziness. Let me go ahead and turn this out real quick. Oops. There we go. So let me know what colors we want it to be in these two. And I will go into some of the settings so that we can scale this so it looks a little bit better. Orange and cyan, love that. So remember what we could do is we literally grab right here. We pull it out holding Alt or Option. And then we have, I like pink and brown. Let's do pink and brown. So we have a nice pink. And then again, we will click into this and hit Y to select everything of that color. And I believe that we have a nice brown that we want to use, pink and brown. Ooh, that's looking funky. Let's leave it. Love it. So what we do is grab here and holding Alt or Option, hover over that pattern, and it's going to change that out for us automatically. Now, something else that we can do is we can click on this pattern, and then down here in this menu, we can click on the menu and it will bring up all kinds of different things. So here we can say that this is lines. And the way that we want it to tile, we can change. So right, I said it goes vertical and horizontal. We actually can have it go brick by brick row, which is going to throw things off. So it's going back and forth to kind of tessellate. That's definitely going to mess it up. We can go by column. It's going to vertically mess it up again because it's just shifting everything up and down. Or we can do hex by column. That means it's going to be a hexagon. That will make it real funky, really crazy. So we want to keep it at a grid right now. And let's go ahead and see if we can do more copies. So right now it's 5 by 5. Let's take this up to 9 by 9. There we go. So wow, that's going to be very, very big. So this will show you a little bit of everything that you want. We also can change the spacing to space them out a tiny bit if we want. And we'll save all those settings. You can mess around with those and change them quite a bit. You can change the overlaps if they are going to overlap at all. We're not on this one. So I think actually what the problem is that I have not, oh, did I apply this to that? Oh, I did. That's crazy town. So what I'm going to do and what I think we've done is that this is too big. So I'm just going to go ahead and shrink this down a little bit. So now we have a smaller pattern. And again, drag over holding Alt or Option until it becomes black. And there we go. Now the size of the pattern has changed a little bit. So this is super easy, super helpful. And if we want to, we can even grab something like this. And instead, we can grab the Eyedropper tool and click here, and it will select each of these just as if they were patterns, right? So if we want to, we can release a compound path over here. We can ungroup these, and this top one, we can mix and match. So maybe we want to make some different looks. There we go. Just mix it up a little bit. Wow, gorgeous. And play around with how we match our uniforms. But what I want you to do is make some crazy patterns, make some fun patterns, and then show me what you can do. We also can do things like this. We can grab maybe our stripes that we have here, pull it out here, rotate it that way, and then just real quick drag it back in. And maybe just the top here, we want to go in the opposite direction. So because we've rotated that and put it back in, I put it on the stroke again. Now we have one that goes the other way. And yes, I have done it wrong a few times, so let's just show you that you can do this. If you want to, you can make this the stroke as well and do crazy patterns in the stroke. It's actually really helpful to do things like ropes and whatnot, but we can drag on the other way. There we go. You can fill in a stroke with a pattern and get real crazy about it. So yes, absolutely insane. You can work with patterns in so many different ways, and I'd love to see what you can do. So once you have finished this challenge, make sure that you head on over to bit.ly/AI Discord, and that is the place to be. And yes, prison party outfits, absolutely. Head on over to bit.ly/AI Discord. And that's where we'll be posting these final projects right here. People posting some of the brushes that we worked on yesterday. Again, this is a crazy, interesting way to use brushes with patterns instead of using those individual repeating patterns that we had used yesterday. So you can come here, post your work. You'll get some great feedback from our friends. I love that we've put this together. The case of Project Falcon. Yes, we have solved it. And all along, it was that pesky detective, man, telling lies. So post your work there, as well as posting it on Behance. Very important for you to post on Behance as well, because posting on Behance will get you into the consideration to be featured in our Best of Behance. Post a full case study, and what that means is each of the projects that we've done, post in here, and I think we have one from one of our old challenges. This is a great example that it's day 1, day 2, all the different challenges that you have done over these last 2 weeks, and maybe even put in some copy in there about what you've learned, what the challenges were, and then post that on Behance. So great job here posting day 4, a little bit of what we were doing, and then continuing on. So post that using hashtag AI daily challenge. And then I want you to stick around. I don't have the schedule for the rest of the day, but I do have the schedule for something coming up a little bit later, and that is Adobe Office Hours at 2:30 with Nick Longo and I hanging out, having fun, and just having a grand old time. So join us then at 2:30. We'll be talking about Adobe XD and how you can leverage it to make some things that may be unconventional, and maybe, I don't know, animation, building out websites, things that may be a little bit wonky and a little bit cool that you may not have seen before. So tune in for that. And as always, thank you for joining us for the Daily Creative Challenge. Next week, our friend Paul Tranny will be taking over, and he will be doing a full 2 weeks of lessons based on, I believe, art history. So that will be very, very good time. And I'll be back with you, my friends, in 2 weeks. So right after Paul Tranny, I'll be back. We'll be doing a world tour, traveling around the world and doing lessons based on landmarks or concepts from each of those. So as always, it has been my joy to be your instructor over these last 2 weeks. I hope that you learned something. If you learned something, drop it in chat. Let me know what you've learned over the last 2 weeks and what was interesting to you. And make sure you stick around for the next stream. It is I, Detective Hawk, Andrew Hawk Rattle, just Hawk, Constable Hawk, all the characters that we played these last 2 weeks, signing off from another 2 weeks of Daily Creative Challenges. And I will see you all at our next set for our world tour. Bye!